Okay, start with pledge. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, members, please.
Trustee Chombley. Here. Trustee McFetrich. Here. Trustee Chombley.
Here.
Trustee Garrett.
Here.
Mayor Martin.
Here. A motion to approve the minutes, organizational meeting, April 4th, 2016.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion on these? Addition, deletions, multiplications, divisions? If there's no discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Need a motion to approve the special board meeting minutes of April 19th, 2016.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Is there discussion on this? In regards to this, Mr. Dowse from NCC will be here Wednesday afternoon. I'm not quite sure what time yet, but he will be here to go around with Mike to spot locations and determine the need for electricity and all of this stuff that we have to have. I'm very excited about getting this done. I think it's a necessary, unfortunate, necessary evil, but times today puts us in this situation where we have to put these surveillance cameras up. Amy, you had a question on the annual maintenance fee. Got that reversed to $3,800 for the village, and it's our option whether we want to take it next year or not, but it's all inclusive, it covers everything.
Yeah, that's all right.
And again, as we talked about before, I am deferring, or I would like to defer the extra for the town portion of this until we get a better handle on what this project is going to pay for. We'll keep it within the village, and then if it moves that the project is going to help us pay for some of this stuff, then we'll address that issue after. So, is there anything else in this?
Nope.
Okay. Special board meeting, April 19th. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right. Presentation, petitions, communications, notices, general question period for members of the community. Mr. Powers, welcome.
Back again.
Fine. What can we
Not
do?
bad this time.
No?
No leaks in a year and a half. Yay.
No.
Yeah,
You were
we
here,
dug up
It's been a
3/4
good
of
winter.
the park, you know.
you were here last week. You had some questions.
Yeah, just reading the paper and a little bit, you know, half advised as far as what's going on up here. Previous to me buying the park in 2007, somewhere from 04 to 07, they used to read, and each trailer has its own water meter. So whether the tenants cut the wires or whatever, for various reasons, it was got to be a hassle for the village and for the previous owners, and they decided we just read at the top of the hill. I recently had to raise the lot rent commercially just to meet expenses, but I drop it back down and like to have each tenant responsible for their own bill. Spent about an hour with Mike, and I'd have to clean out some of these pit areas. There's basically a 24-inch by 24-inch shaft lined with plywood. Some of it needs repair, some of the sand has come in, and I get that ready. It doesn't seem like it's gonna be a very large thing to install the new water meters. A couple of different ways to hook them up, but they should go right in the existing infrastructure that's there. So I didn't know what the board felt, or the mayor, and talked to other Mike, said, gee, we used to do that, well, let's bring it in front of a meeting and see if we can get meters, the new meters, which are remote, and Mike explained to me how that's gonna benefit, just if there's water leaking, we can determine really quickly, let alone the manpower, just reading the meters, it's marvelous technology, you know? And I think it'd be a really good thing, you know, I think it'd.
Well, Mike has made some calls, and
Originally, when I did all the meter count for this, there is one master meter on top of the hill, which, is for everything. And I did talk to Anthony, and he did get back to me, and we're actually, in the next couple of days, we're putting out the final for all the meter stuff, and they will include the extra 8 that he needs in the project. It's not too late, so.
That's good.
And we'll replace the main meter.
Yeah, the meter, he's got one there, but because we're going with the new style, that will replace the meter that's there.
Okay.
I did talk to him about that, and he said that we just caught it in the nick of time, but we could add for so the way we would have to do it is we'd have to put the meters in. I think there's a total of 8. I think it's 8 we talked about. We'd have to read those, and we still have to read the master, and then we could subtract and see if there's any difference. Obviously, if there's any difference, he'll still have the difference, but that'll be leaks in the
Well,
part.
that's what I was just gonna say, the
Then he
master
can-
meter will detect a leak in the main infrastructure.
Yeah, if you subtract the 2 of them, correct.
Yeah,
And I know it's, when you get tenants, sometimes everybody uses different. Sometimes they just let it run. I mean,
Well, it'd be,
and it's hard to know who is doing it, you know, who is,
no, that's a better way to do it.
believe it or not, folks, tenants can lie.
Really?
You know,
Why do you
I
s-
just had one tenant, he has some disabilities down in a approved water district. I have my own water, but I pay very expensive sewer. And he used 18,000 gallons of water in a month. Just his toilet flapper chain and wrapped down underneath, and it ran nonstop.
Wow.
And it's funny how much, we've had 1 or 2 little, we had a little high usage last month and we found 2 leaks. And it gets right down to, no matter what they teach all the water operators at these seminars, I've got different meters in Plattsburgh, Peru, and here, it's 42 gallons per person per day. It just keeps averaging out, a lot of tenants don't have washing machines, we're not watering lawns, maybe I think the national average is like 65 or something. Yeah, but
150.
Is it?
Yeah.
I know, when we had absolutely no leaks, we were down under 50,000 gallons in the park, which is, I'm counting not residential areas, I'm counting people, because most of the trailers are single people. Like Old Elmer that just died, and Rodney, and Mrs. Baker, people like that, they're not huge water consumers.
I mean, usually as we do it is the homeowner pays, that's who the bill's name's in, so I don't know how you guys wanna do it. If you're renting them to them, that the bill goes to them, if they don't pay the bill, ultimately it's gonna come back to you,
Mhm.
because it's.
Yeah, I don't know what would be the best for all of us involved with, send me the individual bills and I hand them to them, or whether you mail them.
However, I don't know which word decides,
How are the other
however
parks? How are the other parks? There's several parks around, how are they all handled?
Individual building.
Individual bills,
Yeah.
that's what I thought, to the
Well,
tenant,
one of
right?
them,
Yeah, I'll go to the.
Not like I'm not up here babysitting the darn place, I have 2 houses there too, so,
homeowners,
I'm up here every
he
week,
pays
so.
them all.
It can be
They're
either
neither
way,
individual.
individual mailings or,
Yeah.
Which one's
If the
that?
tenant happens to move out, it's
And way
no big deal,
Yeah.
$200, yeah.
bigger buildings.
Picked a couple of them water bills and
He
stuff.
pays them,
Mhm.
and he charges them.
oh,
Took me 2 years as an
See
investor
what,
to get on my
Who do you
feet up
want?
here after that
it's hard to
huge
get
water
one
leak
person
sweeper.
that's the
That
family.
was tremendous to get over that,
We can
You just
I'll
not,
make sure.
in the rental business, you don't have like
originals
an extra
and things.
15,000 floating around waiting for a leak like that,
That's how we want it, all right, yeah.
So, do appreciate you guys working with me on that.
Mhm.
That's how we still.
Understand.
Excuse me, it wasn't fun to be me either.
He gets the
Yeah,
original
I
tenant
understand.
stuff.
so
Why
I
do we
guess.
still have to have the main meter and read off of that instead
Because
of the
the
individual?
lines in the park are his,
Yeah.
so if there's leaks in those lines like there was,
Oh.
he's responsible for that water.
And we would never know, because
Right.
the
Right.
individual meters won't pick up on
Which is
it.
Correct.
kind of weird in itself, somehow or other, I was told the road got deeded over within the last 12 or 13 years. Originally, it was supposedly, according to Chico and my brother Tom, who used to be the property manager, it wasn't a village road. But Joan Denny's own, who was, this place is owned by a corporation, but she was the controlling member of the corporation, didn't want to plow the road. So she deeded it to the village, what I was told. And the water lines are horribly put in, and they cross the road which, you know, okay, once in a while, but it was a dirt road back then too. So the guy who installed the water meter didn't see no big deal running that sucker right across the road diagonally for about 30 feet in front of Elmer's, you know?
I know now how they do it is the landlord gets the original, then the tenants get copies. of
That'd be
each.
awesome.
That way they both have one sent from here. Cause that's what we do with the Meadow Lane now.
Okay.
Well, we can go back and look at the records and see if this was, if this was transferred to the village, or if this is still
It's kind of weird how it all ended
What's
up,
that?
you know?
we plow it.
Exactly, yeah.
That's
Yeah,
it.
Now, obviously, I can't blame the village with all the problems I've had, well, you guys wouldn't wanna own the main line, but please do. You know, I wouldn't mind being responsible just from the curb.
Understandable.
We'll see what we can find.
Yeah, by the way, we spent a lot of money, we've cleaned up the river down there, we've taken truckloads down.
Yeah.
I mean, as a landlord, you have no idea the beds and the TVs I get per year, dozens.
Mhm.
And those are the ones I catch.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's guys are always throwing stuff over that river, but it's all cleaned up right now. And I'm just cracking the whip with the tenants to get the place looking better.
Surveillance cameras.
I wanna keep that by the oil drum so you can figure out who's stealing from who in the middle of the night.
Well,
But yeah, if we, that, you know, what we can say about it, but if we can get that done, that'd be awesome.
well, once we get the meters in and we start transitioning,
Yeah.
and it's gonna be a much better system, as Mike has said. You know, we can go by, we can just go by any day, and we can tell if there's excessive use at one house or the next house or whatever. And, I mean, it's a fantastic system.
No, I was totally amazed. And even it's funny, I have two houses there with similar household, and one's using 40% more water than the other. It's strictly their habits.
Yeah.
But I bet if they get the bill, watch that water usage go down.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, that is the benefit of metering it. It does reduce
In the winter time, you know,
usages.
if it's skirting and stuff, they let the water run.
Oh, yeah.
You just keep it from freezing, you know?
They're all getting wrapped and all getting electrical tape. If they don't do it, I'm doing it
And
this
that's,
year.
that's the other thing that we'll have to make sure that if they do go that way and put the new ones, that those are insulated, because as I explained,
I'm gonna build a new
They-
cat for
they
every
don't-
one of them.
they don't, have a freeze bottom like the old ones do. They, if those freeze and split, we replace them. So,
We'll
No,
put the-
I
We'll
talked
put
to,
the first one in, but if it freezes and breaks,
what are they only warranted for, like 10 below probably? I'm just kidding.
yeah,
Just kidding. No, I talked to Mike, I'm gonna, again, these are holes in concrete, they're
Yeah.
access holes. So I'm gonna build an insulated pallet previous to this, they just had big styrofoam sheets laid over them, which sometimes you get knocked around and stuff, but I'm gonna idiot proof it. I'll be in Florida in a couple of years, half the time, I don't wanna be running up here all the time.
so it will be done.
Alright, thank you very much, I'll be
You're
working with you, and you have a good night.
Thanks.
Thank you, Mike.
Keep our opinions on ourselves. There will be no codes enforcement. Mike will be back on Wednesday, dealing with his recent loss. So, good evening. As you've no doubt noticed, the construction activity has increased here in the village. The increased activity is the welcomed result of many years of study, planning, and many sleepless nights. The improvements in our water system with its increased pressures, softer water, and better service to our users will be well worth the wait and the cost of the shared water project. However, there are some concerns with a project of this scale. First, please be very cautious as you drive or walk around construction sites. These sites can be very dangerous, so please reduce your speed if you're driving and walk with extreme caution near any construction activity. Second, be aware that the construction workers are doing their jobs. Many streets will be reduced to one lane, so watch for the flaggers and follow their instructions. We need to be alert and watchful for the construction workers around the job sites Their safety is very important also. Third, as construction progresses, there will be boil water orders issued when necessary. This is a normal event, and everyone can rest assured that we will take every precaution in keeping the water supply safe for our consumers. Fourth, as stated in past reports, your patience, cooperation, and continued support for this project is important to us all. These improvements will have a positive effect on our users, both village and town, so a year of disruption will be worth the wait. Fifth, finally, if you should have any concerns or questions about the project, the construction activities, or any water issues, please call the village office at 298-4152 or leave a message if the office should be closed. We will make every effort to address your concerns. We will be preparing the community garden spot on Maiden Lane as soon as the DPW staff can find the time to work on the garden. If you are interested in having a plot in our garden for this growing season, you can call the village office for information and to sign up for a plot. Thank you. Trustee Trombley.
I just wanted to, I really don't have much of anything this evening, except I wanted to compliment Mike and the crew regarding the streets. The cleanup looks like it's going beautifully. All good things take time.
Well, the machine broke down, so
Ah,
we just got it fixed. New oil cooler, the trackless.
but I've seen, the guys out working and you as well, and the streets are looking very, very nice.
I'll pass it on.
Thank you. That's it, just.
Thank you.
any further
Trustee
questions?
McFetrich.
First, I'd like to thank the area residents who have continued to support the presentations. We had one last month on music and dance, and the one last week on the Frog Farm, both well attended, and I'd like to thank Robert St. John for giving his time for that presentation and for the tour of the Frog Farm, which was fascinating and very well attended. The rowing program will be starting at the end of May. The kids' fun runs are going to begin on June 12th at 6:30 p.m. There is a basic self-defense class that's going to be on June 7th at 6:30 p.m. at the Champlain Meeting House. And we're going to offer a CPR class at the EMS station on May 24th at 6 p.m. and the cost for that is $25. And these are all ideas that the residents have contacted us and said, can you do this? So I think the interest and the commitment to this village is really at an all-time high, and I thank everyone for joining in.
What is the time on the 24th again?
24th is at 6 p.m. at the EMS station.
And the self-defense
It's
date and time?
June 7th at 6:30 at the Champlain Meeting House. That's by donation, there's no charge. She'll take donations though. And I think that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Trombley.
I'll just bring the board up to speed where we're at. I've been working on getting contractors for estimates for the repairs on both the roofs at the wastewater and the building here. And we were hoping originally to have something to act on tonight, but we've only got a couple in. We've got a total of 3. And there's 3 more out there that need more time, so we'll have to wait until the next meeting to address it. I'd sent out specific request details, so hopefully they're all gonna come back the same, we don't have to do any sifting through.
Right.
That's it.
Okay, good, thank you. Trustee Gary.
I attended a webinar last week on fraud prevention within governments, and as we know, we read a lot in the paper. So there's some things in place, and I wanna pull it all together with some recommendations. I haven't had a chance to get in with the ladies. to see what we already have in place and where we may have weaknesses, but simple things to do to, just have an eye on things so that things don't fall through the cracks. It was very interesting. It was the first time I attended 2 webinars simultaneously, on 2 laptops.
Oh, my goodness.
One for each year.
It was really, really very interesting, but I was able to get the gist, and I was taking notes. I had a notebook for each one and would quick and put down, and I'd hear something
Yeah.
important for the other one. It was really interesting.
Wow.
My husband was kidding that he did 3 a week ago. At one time, he had his cell phone going, and he said, "Can't do 3."
Wow.
So it happens when things get double booked, but I really wanted to listen to that, to see where we stand, measuring up to other things. So that was very interesting. So, having wonderful feedback from the community for everything that's happening in the village, I'm sure all of you are aware, and seeing it, Sunday was really exciting as the boat launch was packed. My husband and I, is there a party down here? So we go down, and of course it was the opening of Walleye, so all the boats are out, and just so cool to see the launch used by so many. It was really, really, really exciting, and people were very thrilled with the dock-in and all of that. It's, really exciting to see. That being said, I think we need to take a look at some of our park fixtures, such as our picnic tables that are getting pretty sad, and look for something a lot more.
We've got the new ones,
We have new
should be going
ones.
out this week.
Oh,
Last year we
okay.
got new ones,
Oh,
we had only left a few.
where was I?
We got
It was
last
near
year.
the end of the summer.
Oh.
Were they on sale
Yeah,
or something?
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
I don't know, we
beautiful.
got like, I don't remember how many,
Okay.
6 of them, 10 of them,
Fi-
there's quite a
5
few.
or 6? Yeah, I don't remember, but we have new ones, I know. I
Cool.
agree, the ones that are out are
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah, they're just not the
We
best.
do have some brand new ones, we put them away, we left a few of the old ones out because
It's
the
the
ones
winter.
Well,
in the
right,
park,
what are they
they got
used?
spray painted
I
and they
know.
got, but once we know how our security, we can.
Yeah, I wouldn't put them out till we have the security up and going, but, and make sure that we put some in all the parks. Because we have some people that like to be in Paquette Park, we have some people that like to be on the other side of the river, and then we have the people obviously at the playground. And that's very convenient to have tables underneath the covering for moms with babies and, things like that, so, just to keep that in mind. But the community is so thrilled, and the talk is exciting to see, and the playground is just busy all
Yes, it
the
is.
time. All ages, which is really nice, so that is good to see. So the History Center was exciting too at the Frog Pond.
Yeah, didn't you do a
Lots
wonderful
of
job?
people, yeah,
Lots of
and
people.
there were kids
Yeah,
all the way
ages.
on up, so it was really, very neat to see. I'm sorry that I missed the tour, took too long getting the plants at North Lawn Garden, I missed the cutoff.
You can go out anytime, he'd love to take you around.
So it was really, it's cool to hear, our history. We have a lot of incredible history. So, that being said, one of the things we were going to be coming up with ideas for the library, and I know we're not meeting on this till next month. But in the room downstairs where if we were able to get, the exit that needs to be in there to use it, I've been hearing people requesting dance lessons up here. They used to have dance classes down in Plattsburgh for adults, and they're no longer there offering that. I thought that would just be a nice thing to draw people in. And another thing that in researching were projects for the children. So taking and pulling out all the books that have to do with butterflies, and then having the project of the kids watching it going from stage 1 on up, and having stories out that they can take out and see what to expect at the next stage. So it's libraries who are becoming more successful are moving forward with projects like that, as opposed to the old-fashioned sign out a book. But getting them to come into the building to hear these kinds of things. So I think there's a lot of opportunities for all ages to make this viable. you know, updating it, I think is one of the key
Yeah.
pieces. But again, I think that we can do that through volunteers and whatnot, quite easily to a point, you know, and then grant money for the financial part of it. But anyway, if you still wanna move forward with the June meeting, if we're looking at that, or if we need to put that off to July, because I know that it was gonna be talking about those, so just let me know, so I will let them know when it should be. I think July is plenty of time for us to still be able to get all our ducks in a row, if you want to have them set for that meeting.
Let's do it in July then.
Yeah, I agree. I
Does the
think,
board agree?
yes.
Yeah.
I think if we're gonna talk construction bids next month, that's probably gonna take up a good portion of the meeting.
Well, that, or I'm gonna ask for approval for a special meeting at the end of this month, so that we can close the books. And if Tom is prepared, then we can take, you know, a bit of time to talk about it then, or we can wait till the June meeting. It's up to you.
Okay.
It's up to you folks. But we do need that, a few minutes in the 23rd of this month to close the books, as we do every year. But I was gonna do that under new business, so we can wait for that one just a little bit.
So that's it for me.
Thank you. Anything else? Okay. I'll bring this stuff up after. Do we have a report from the clerk treasurer?
Everybody should have a copy of them.
Okay. You can see the details of expenditures that we are very close in some areas, and in some areas we are doing better than normal, but nonetheless, at the end of this month, we will roll over some of what's left. And so far, I think the budget has been very good. We are meeting our projections, and we're looking at what we set up last year for this year. And I think this has been a very good budget, very effective budget. And we've done pat yourselves on the back a little bit. You've done a wonderful job. Okay. Presentation of the warrant and payment. Need a motion to approve the warrant.
I think we need to do transfers first.
Oh,
Everybody should have.
yep,
Transfers.
sorry.
Thank
Okay, got some transfers.
Juanita does put a few explanations there as far as the reasons for those, especially the larger transfers.
And this will be probably the last transfer that we will.
Yeah.
Okay.
I make a motion that we approve the transfers.
Have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, discussion? You'll notice from the fund balance, this will pay for the entire project, the surveillance project, everything there, so that it'll come out of this year's budget instead of carrying it over to next year. And then I think the rest are pretty much self-explanatory there.
Yeah.
Any discussion on this transfer? Have a roll call, please.
Trustee Trombley.
Aye.
Trustee McFetrich.
Aye.
Trustee Trombley.
Aye.
Trustee Garrett.
Aye.
Mayor Martin.
Aye. Now we'll entertain a motion to pay the warrant.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Okay, we see the total warrant is $32,015.12.
That includes, a dig safe for $50 that,
That's a certification class in the town of Plattsburgh. Now, to do any digging, you have to have, it's a 5-year certification for excavation. It's $25 fee, there's two of us going. Myself, I need to do the digging, and I'm gonna have just sign Jimmy up to go, because if I'm not here, that way there you can do the digging, but it's a 5-year certification, and it's through Dig Safe themselves. That's June 2nd. but we have to get it paid to get, there's only 25 spots available,
Mhm.
so we have to get it paid sooner than, and I don't know why, I tried to do it ahead and tried to do it with our card, and it wouldn't let me go through PayPal, and the address didn't match, and it was so close, and they just sent me the invoice, so I was able to do it now in this meeting.
We'll address the invoice.
We can just send a check for that one.
I guess we can do it now, because it's part of the warrant. You've been copied with this invoice to, for Mike and
Jimmy?
Jimmy?
Jimmy. To attend this program, it's in Peru, 1 day, am I right?
Plattsburgh, at the Baker Road, done Plattsburgh.
Okay.
It's only partial, it's only a part day. I think it's half day.
It's not beneficial to some, the staff?
Only people have to get date, man, I'm not gonna,
Okay,
Yeah.
just so people are aware of the safety standards,
we could,
or you could come back and then make sure you do a
there's
hour,
more.
whatever, you know, with the
I
remainder
mean,
of
it's up
that.
to you guys, it's, I know there's a limit of 25 people, and there's, it's 20, it's, I think it's $25 a person, so it's up to you guys how you wanna send, or how many I should say.
I don't know. Well, I think it's a good idea, we have at least two qualified, and at least one of them's gonna be here with the others.
Now, there's a training the day before that I'm sending probably Robert and Jimmy. It's MSHA training, and that one's free, but they need that, they go to any quarries to get material. It's usually a yearly inspection or certification. That one's free, that was the day before. I talked to, Jim,
Do you have paperwork on that, Mike?
no, you're supposed to sign me up right there, there's no charge for that one.
I know, but the
So-
board, if they're going away, the board needs to approve.
I don't. So, I mean, if we
Well,
don't,
we can do it on your.
they don't have to go, but
No,
it's,
we can approve it on your recommendation,
I think we should,
but the board has to approve it.
okay.
So.
That's gonna be an all-day training at down in Plattsburgh as well, the
So
day before,
again-
June
It's
1st.
June 1st.
To get into Graymont now,
Yeah, you're supposed to have,
to get a load of stone, you have to be certified now.
any quarry, it could be right here in Stetson Road at Rafferty's, it could be Calvitis, anybody, and there's this all, it didn't, used to be all the regular commercially owned or regular people that go there have to have it. Usually municipalities didn't bother, but all those people are complaining because municipalities didn't need it, so now they're making municipalities do it as well.
Uh-huh.
That's what it is, it's an inspection, because they can come in and pull your truck apart and do whatever they have to do, as far as getting inspected. Once you go through this training class, apparently that doesn't know all the rules as far as what's in the quarry and, or wherever you are getting material. So that's what it's, I think it's MSHA, I think is I can get you guys the paperwork on it, you know, the information about it,
We
but I
could
know it
put
was.
that at the special meeting.
We can do
Yeah,
that.
it's
So
June
more
first,
information.
that one is June first, so, this is the one I was worried about, cause it's 25, the dig safe one was only 25 person limit, and when it's full, you can't get in, so. If you wanna do it that way, that's fine too, I can get you the information, and you can do it on the next, the 23rd.
For that other one, but for the two, for the dig safe.
Yeah, that one we should,
tonight.
cause if
So
we
then
don't,
we can pay that.
yeah, because if we don't, and they only hold your spot when you pay for it,
Yeah.
which you can't blame them, I guess.
Yeah.
So I will get you the information for the other one,
All right,
that way you guys have it.
I don't think we need a separate resolution to pay the $50 because it's part of the warrant.
Right.
So if we approve the warrant, then we approve sending Mike and Jimmy to this dig safe
Okay.
notification.
Do we have a motion yet? Can we talk
Yes.
about it?
Yep, we have
Okay.
a motion and a second.
So, one question, and I know it's a minor amount compared to all this other spending,
No, yes,
dear. The Lowe's business credit card,
Yeah.
DeWalt, what is that tool?
That's drill kit for the sewer plant,
Okay,
which has old one from home there, and finally I think it's conked out. So we're gonna swap with them, use a new one here and give them the old one we had here is for the sewer plant.
alright, so have we added that into our list of tools to keep track of?
It will be, I
Okay,
didn't give it to him yet, it's here,
Okay.
I wanna wait till after.
alright, I just wanna make sure we do that, okay.
And there's also a, I don't know, did we put it on here? No, there's also a charge for, under the general fund, line 376, the Hartford late fee, $30, that has been eliminated.
Oh, good, good, okay.
And we've received our last load of salt for the year. Yay.
For next year.
Yeah,
Nice to have
Said we'll
30%
take-
savings in our snow plowing,
we
right?
said we'll take this much, and we were under, we had enough to last us through, so if we didn't take it, we still would pay for it.
Right,
So we mixed the old stuff and got one more load. It put us a little bit over what our minimum would have been, but we're not nowhere near what we could have taken. So, and last year, for next year, I already put the order in for next year, and I lowered it down by 20 tons. I lowered it to what it was the year before. It's funny, cause the year, you don't know,
Yeah,
you don't know. So we had enough money and we had budgeted for it. And part of that, we were gonna pay for half of it regardless. We might as well get it and it's not gonna spoil. We'll mix it up and, it'll be in good shape, so. But we had already had to send it in, I think, 2 weeks ago, our next year's order. So we're trying to negotiate,
so depressing.
trying to see what everybody has, just to be able to have some on hand.
Turning green, we gotta order salt.
Ah, that's your frost warning tonight, so.
No, I just brought it on my plants.
All right, if there's no further discussion on the warrant, roll call please.
Trustee Chombley.
Aye.
Trustee McFetrich.
Aye.
Trustee Chombley.
Aye.
Trustee Barry.
Aye.
Mayor Martin.
Aye. The report from the superintendent.
Spring is a very busy time for us. We have completed our hydrant flushing, the docks are in, and they were used. I couldn't even launch my boat there Saturday, I had to go to the big boat. I had no people in the river said, the docks are in, but we can't, there's no place to park down there.
I know, it's exciting.
I know the fishermen are using them. Mowing season's upon us. We already, the end of last week, we started to do our mowing. We're gonna continue with the street cleanup over the next couple weeks. We started actually today on the bridge, over here on the Elm Street Bridge. Got most of the sand picked off, started washing it. We'll hopefully tomorrow get that finished up. We just talked about the salt. Brush pickup's complete. We did do a little bit of pothole patching. And the county also did come down and do some hot patching on the Elm Street Bridge, which helped tremendously. It's temporary, but you know, it did help tremendously. Most of the equipment has been washed and desalted. We had a few sewer lines that were blocked that we were able to open up and take care of. We're still in the process of locating our utilities, the water shut off, sewer and whatnot. Haven't got a chance to do many lately, and it probably will be a little while, but we'll continue with that as time goes on. Actually, during the day, the Bernier car is using it, and they're marking along the piping that's getting installed, changing directions, so it's getting used actually daily, our GIS unit. Our backup generators, they were all serviced. All of the DPW crew attended a CPR AED training class, so we should any day now be getting our certificates. We did also meet with NYSEG, myself and Janet, with the head one for the gas for NYSEG to look at where they're gonna do the expansions this year, and they, explained to us where they're gonna be expanding. And as of right now, there's a good possibility that, we will have natural gas down to the new water plant. They're working on it for us, so that was a very positive thing for us. I know Maiden Lane is on schedule, not Maiden Lane, Meadow Lane and Moore Street and part of Route 9 that they're expanding on this year, so you will see NYSEG here and, or a contractor for NYSEG putting gas services to houses. We did also had a meeting with Bernier and Carr. We're trying to get our final plans out for the new water treatment plant, which that's moving along, but doesn't seem to be moving along as quick as we'd probably like it to. We will need to continue to cut shoulders.
Mike, speak up.
We will need to continue to cut shoulders and ditch as we get time. I know Prospect, we've got a bunch to do there. I've got a lot of other places. We'll be doing some digging on Spruce Street as well. We have issues with water coming out of the road there pretty often. So my plan is, we'd like to pave that road this year. We're gonna finish on the, the east side of the road, we're gonna finish putting the culverts, where there was culverts, we ended by Bing's, just past Bing's driveway, and clean the ditches up through there to try to get the water off the roadway. And on the other side of the road, I'm looking at right now that there's no ditches there, so I'm looking at, we're gonna dig down, put fabric with stone, with a perforated pipe, more stone, and then wrap the fabric to try to get some of the water out of that, out of the ground, because we have a lot of issues. It's the asphalt there is in real bad shape, and the road is sagging. And I know that road was, they hauled a lot of gravel in there, I don't know how many years ago, but, so we're gonna see what we can do to get that road straightened out before we get it paved. So we'll be very soon, as soon as we get our cleanup done, we're probably gonna be starting there, so we're ready for when paving season's here. It's gonna take a while, I gotta get the culvert pipe and stuff ordered for it. We also, on South Street, I got some culverts that need to be changed. They, I don't know why, but they seem to pitch the wrong way, and water's always hanging there. Almost like right across from Spruce Street, that whole section, I've got a bunch of them that we have to change. This water project has kept us very busy, and it will continue to do so. The new river crossing from Mill Street to Maiden Lane is in, has been pressure tested, disinfected. The samples went to the lab. I think the samples, one of the samples, they said they came back, they're waiting for the other one. As soon as we get final approval from the health department, then the new river crossing can be, valves can be turned on and put in use. Once that is in use, then the contractors are supposed to start up on the rail bed, changing pipe, or adding pipe, I should say, down to the rail bed. Right now, they're in Prospect working. They did some pipe from the tank, which is like 7 feet of ledge that they had to hole ram with their excavator. And I know 2 days they hole rammed all day long, and they only got 2 sticks of pipe in. Tough going, real tough. So, I guess as of now, they have contacted the blaster. He's been up, and we'll see where that takes them. I'm sure they're gonna have to do some blasting because they won't be able to get all this in with a hole ram. We did also, we put a few valves in that needed to be installed. We put one at the tank. There was a T there, we put a valve so they can, at the old tank, so this way after the new tank is online, they can tie the line into it and we can shut the old tank off to keep water flowing. We didn't have any issues. We had shut the tank and we ran our pumps on hand and regulated it on a hydrant. We had 2 people watching the pressure, one over by McDonald's and one on Prospect. We had watching the gauges, and we'd open and close the valve as needed to keep the pressure where it needed to be, so we didn't blow lines or go into a boil water situation, which took, it wasn't an easy task, but every time somebody had a big draw, pumps kicked on and the gauge would start to go and the guys constantly had to watch it, so. But we got it done and we did it correctly, and we're in pretty good shape as far as that goes. Also, we added a valve on the bottom of, or the contractors added a valve at the bottom of Prospect where it meets Pocket Boulevard, so that new line can be tied on. We were able to isolate the water line there. Originally, we were supposed to do a boil water for the school, or we were going to, but we were able to isolate the line, and we kept full pressure all the way from Pocket Boulevard, all the way up Prospect to the school. So we did not have to do boil water. The line didn't get less than 20 pounds. So we did do check sample, and that came back fine. And I gave a copy to the school so they would have it. That way they got a paper trail of, right now, things are moving forward. Today, I think they got another 200 feet of pipe in. They're just getting to the bottom of the hill on Prospect to start coming up through, but before too long, I think they'll be in ledge again. Other than that, like Greg was saying, boil waters, they're not for everybody. If you see a boil water, listen to what the addresses are for. They're localized, for a short section. It doesn't mean everybody's under a boil water. And we do boil waters as precautionary. It doesn't mean that the water is bad, but we advise not to drink it during that time until we can actually send a sample and have it tested and we get it cleared from the lab and the health department. Other than that, swimming pools, if you guys need to fill your swimming pools, stop by the village office and get a pool meter. If you would like the sewer credit, we're not gonna, you can't fill your pool and come in after and say, well, I put this many gallons of water in your pool, because you won't get credit for it. If you have a pool and you wanna get the credit from the sewer, you pay for the water, but get the sewer credit, make sure you come to the office, and get a pool meter. Other than that, that's all I have.
With the boiled water, do residents get, a note delivered to them
Yeah.
when it affects them? That's
Yeah,
what I
we get-
thought,
we
just so
hand
they
deliver-
know, so if they don't receive a letter, understand you're not affected.
Yep, we hand
For those.
delivered to the house, if there's nobody there, we'll tape it to the door.
Yep.
And then Mary was also putting it,
In
in
the
the paper and
Yeah, it's in the
the
paper.
news.
Facebook and on the website.
And on our village page, and then the same thing when it comes back, usually they don't come back till the evening, so I go house to house when they are lifted, and tell people that, you know, you can use it as normal, now it's been lifted. So, cause a few people thought that, when we saw the boil of water, somebody asked me today, can I drink the water now? And they were on Church Street, so, my sister said that, no, it's not the case, you know. So if you have questions, call here, if you're not sure, just call the village office.
You're
Or,
not,
or look on the website, because it is on our village page.
Many of those projects.
you notice when it goes to residents, does it state in there that people can bathe in it and they can do their laundry? It's just not recommended that they drink it or use it for cooking
Yes,
unless it's boiled?
there's a sheet that we give them from the health department that says what the rules are. There's a whole page, tells them how to disinfect it, if they wanna use bleach or a minute rolling boil. There's a whole page that we deliver with them
Okay.
to let them know.
Okay.
And with NICEAG, can we get a specific areas that the expansion would or possibly be happening for the gas? Because it seems that every time this happens, back when they did it a few years back, they had to cut across roads we just paved. So,
I have the maps of where they're
yeah,
going.
so as we're making our plan on where we're gonna do our paving, we wanna make sure that it's not gonna be in an area that may be getting the gas and then we're gonna cut across the brand new road, because then it's shot.
Well, they won't, unless they're doing a main, usually the crossings, they'll pound under the road with air. They'll cross, just like they did when they did Willow Street last year, they put the main on the side.
Before they used
And
to
they'll
cut
cross,
right through
yeah,
the roads.
especially your main lines, a lot of times they will cut across. But
Yeah.
no, what they have right now, they're gonna pound under, they won't do, and I don't think, the Route 9, they would let them open cut it, DOT wouldn't let them cut that anyways, but, so Route 9, we don't have too much to worry about. I think they're gonna try to go, I asked them if they could go on the, west side of the road, stay away from our water line, everything would work better to run up there and then run the lines across who wanted it, so they're gonna talk to DOT and see if that's okay. Meadow Lane, they're gonna run on the opposite side of the water line, so they're gonna be running on the south side of the road, all the way down through. Now, I don't know where they're gonna tie it on the corner, I'll have to see as far as that goes, I'm not sure where they're tying in, but they don't have, and they'll get a hold of us, I'm sure, before that happens, but usually when they're doing the road crossings, they try to, unless their main is in the road, then they may have to go to it, but I think in most of these situations, they're gonna pound underneath, they're not gonna do any cuts if they.
Well, because there's lots of markings on the roads, cutting across them all, and so, I mean, I know,
As far as the flags, you mean now, where you see, is that what you mean, the mark out flags?
no, well, the flags are along the side of the road, they're not in the road, then they've got lines going across the roads.
Right now, you mean the yellow lines? That's for the dig safes, especially South Street, the,
Yeah, well, no, I know, it's a combination of the two, so.
The contractor called in some dig safes, which they're gonna be putting a line from Ash Line to Route 11 on that end, and they called in all South Street, all the way up through, which the kid from the gas company was here like all day Saturday and Sunday,
Right, he wasn't
and he didn't need to be.
misunderstood, right, no, I get
You know,
that,
marked all that, so, that's what a lot of these are, is just showing you where the lines are.
right,
So there's, all the lines you see marked out, was, if it has yellow, there's already gas lines there,
okay.
so.
Just from the past.
Right.
This has been our luck. When we choose so few roads that we can, pave and
Yep.
just the fact that Spruce was not done that long ago and we're gonna have to redo it because it wasn't done properly.
It's spruce in bad shape.
It is.
It's dipped the wrong way,
Yeah,
yeah.
walked it yesterday. Yeah, so that's all, just to keep in mind that piece. Thank you.
And there is already gas, so,
Yeah, I'm not sure where gas is in the village, to be
Yeah.
honest, I don't know. So,
I think the main goes up the west side of that street, west side of Church Street, and then it crosses over, goes up Pine, but I think it continues up, Church Street on the west side. And then they'll just run that line right up Meadow Lane. They already have service on the other side, for Moore Street,
yeah, it's already by where Financial Tele used to be.
yeah.
There's a short stub there.
And hopefully we can work it out so that we can run it down to the new water plant,
We're
which
going
will be
to,
much cheaper for us.
we're gonna see about us doing the digging or with the new water plant. When they have to put the sewer line, our forced main line from our lift station. So they can be, as long as they're 12 inches apart. So if they dig a wide enough trench, even though you're 5 foot with a sewer line, 2 foot with the with the gas line, as long as they're 12 inches apart. So if we have the trench dug and they backfill part way, they can set the pipe on one side, they can put the gas, before they finish backfilling, put their tracer tape. So if the line is dug, nice thing will be here, we'll put sand bedding, they'll roll their pipe out with the tracer tape, we'll put sand over it, and then it will save a lot on cost because they won't have to do
Right.
the whole way. So, and we have to come all the way up to, behind where John Galley is anyways with the sewer line, because that's where the manway is. So from there up, it'll be gas, you know, we'll have to go up, we may have to do a road cut to hook our gas. It's gotta cross somewhere there unless they pound it under, so.
And with the trench you were talking about on Spruce, if we're taking a left on Spruce, are you talking about putting the trench on the right side of the road or the left?
There's gonna, on both sides of the road, we're gonna have pipe. On Binglow's side, which would be on
Right,
this
okay.
side,
Mhm.
there's pipe, some of that has pipe and then some is open ditch. So we're gonna continue, it's clay tile and it's all broke and collapsed. That's what we found when we started it. So we're gonna keep going, and then where the ditch is open, we're gonna clean the ditch and leave it open. That way, we need places for the water to be able to enter. The opposite side of the road, which is like Mr. Gakey's side, there's no ditch through there. So what we're gonna do is, I gotta get the height of the pipe on this end where it goes and catches a drain, and we wanna dig down to that height. We wanna put, they make a fabric that dirt won't go through, but water will. We'll dig a trench, we'll lay fabric in the trench, put stone, put an 8-inch perforated pipe with stone on top, and then wrap the fabric. And then we'll put probably some sand, and then common fill. This way, all that water in the ground that's pushing out of the center of the road can get there and then get out.
Right.
Follow that trench down. It can be a level trench with perforated pipe, and it'll follow that and get out. I'm hoping, I know on Paquette Boulevard, where we ditched it deep, and it really seemed to help, because the road was spongy.
Spongy.
And there we got heavy trucks, and I'm hoping the same thing here. I don't know, I asked Jim, and he said that they had ground or tore all that tarmac out, the old tarmac. I was worried about, there was an old road there, and maybe they laid stone on top, and they put a new road, and the water followed
No,
that
we
stone. But he
ground that
said,
out.
he said that all got taken out.
All of it.
I wasn't here, I don't know.
That's why it's so depressing that it didn't last.
We have to do something to, if you just put asphalt on there, we're just kind of putting a Band-Aid, and it's gonna, if we can put, you know, some tile pipe through there with stone, I think it'll draw that water out. I know on the other end, we have issues with there, and I'm gonna have to look at, possibly putting a DI or making a cut across, maybe South Street to tie a drain in, cause all the water comes down south and it makes that corner, and it comes right down.
Did you do something with that last year?
I raised a sidewalk, and
That's
it
right,
really helped,
yeah.
because it's, like Brian Chevalier's house was flooding, his
Yeah.
basement and next door. Now, there are a few places that will probably have tile pipe and it'll run between, next to Lake Raleigh, Oliver, because he's got drainage around, his place is built up, but there's, in between him and the neighbors, there's kind of a natural, and it goes down behind, so a few of them places, the water's probably gonna go through and, you know, to get out through the back. There are some houses out back, there's really not a good way to get back there to clean it, stays wet in there, you know? Just like behind the old phone company. I don't know how you get in there to be able to clean it. You can't bring a truck in there, you can't, so. When you get heavy grass and stuff, some people, they don't keep their properties up, and that kinda holds the water back.
Yeah.
But that whole strip through there is like a gully that stays wet all the time. But we're gonna see what we can do to, if we can get pipe in there, we're hoping that'll dry that, get the water out of that road, cause when we get rain and stuff, it's like a spring comes right out of the road.
I'm glad you brought that up, because in regards to, you were talking about an old clay drainage pipe,
Yeah.
when they dig to tie into the railroad bed, are they gonna be digging across where the Episcopal Church parking lot is?
They'll be digging all the way from Route 9 all the way to Prospect. They'll be crossing
No, but aren't they gonna tie in and run the old railroad bed?
Yes.
all the way.
So,
Yeah.
are they gonna be digging and laying pipe where it's marked out now at the church? Cause there's an old drainage pipe there, and I just wanted to bring that up, cause I was.
Oh, I'm sure they'll find it. They found the sewer line and,
That culvert that's in my driveway,
yeah,
that feeds under an old liner all the way down to, Langer's.
yeah. So if they
It's
find
either
that,
an old clay pipe or an old stone drainage, so if they disturb that, we're gonna have a backup.
yeah, well, if they disturb, they'll have to fix it. Yeah, usually they dig through them and then they fix them. That's what happened with the sewer
So I
on
just wanted to
Mill
bring that-
Street.
Let you know that that's an old pipe under there too.
Yeah, I got it cleaned by Frank's on the inside, he asked, cause we started cleaning the outside, he said, can you guys do the other side too? I said, we will, it's just getting to it, once we can get, we gotta get the streets, we wanna get the rest of our streets sand cleaned up, and then we'll get going where we can. That whole prospect actually, further up, the ground was so wet that it just needed to be cleaned.
Well, we're talking
Gas
about
lines are so close,
Prospect,
too.
and there are throughout the village in different places, the piping that's sticking up out of the sidewalks. What's the story with that?
Those usually, where's a prospect sticking up?
So, Prospect is down towards, so when you're coming off of, Butternut,
Yeah,
and walking down to the library,
yeah,
there's several in that nasty narrow sidewalk anyway.
on Butternut,
No, on Prospect.
Those are shut-offs.
okay.
Yeah, but they're
Those are
sticking up
sidewalk,
out
right?
of the ground,
Yeah.
and it's raw pipe, and,
We'll get new tops on and put them back down. The frost pushes them every year.
Yeah, we've got one
Those
in
are-
front of our house that's.
Water shut
there's
off.
a few
Tapped it in.
throughout, cause I've been
Yeah, usually you can
walking
push them down.
lots in the village, and there's a
I'm
lot
sure.
sticking out.
And see what happens, if frost pushes them, and the reason why the top is like that is because the sidewalk machine will cut them off.
Uh-huh.
So
Okay,
we'll have to hit them back down.
and it's dangerous right now, so maybe, sending out,
Tomorrow I'll send them out to check them.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, cause my granddaughter was trying to do her scooter thing, and I took the scooter from her, cause there were just too many
Well,
issues there.
Not only that, but with Memorial Day coming and a lot of people walking the
Yeah,
village.
we'll have to just.
I'll start
walk the
logging it
streets.
as I'm
Yeah, if you see
walking the
them,
village.
absolutely call Mary or,
I'll do that, cause there's been quite a few, and I keep forgetting to ask you, so.
no, that's what every year, when the frost comes out, it pushes,
Yeah,
and it raises them up.
It
The
raises-
ground's,
the one
once
in
the
front of my
ground's
house
soft, it's,
raises
you
6
know,
inches.
but there's a foot adjustment on those. So usually if they're down and broke, I got a tool I made that we can pry them up, we'll cut them off square, we'll put a new fix-it top, and then we'll put them back down. The old ones, I wish they'd have changed and moved them and not put them in the sidewalk, you know. I know Ross Point did that when they redid all their sidewalks, they actually added new ones and they moved them off the sidewalk. But the sidewalks are bad because they used to put a pipe around them. Well, now you got a 4-inch circle that you can
Exactly.
twist your ankle in.
exactly, and you
You know,
do,
it's tough.
and then you hit it every winter with a sidewalk.
Now it's not as bad because the new tops we buy, you can actually could cement them in and they have a nut you take out in the center to go down the side.
Wow.
It's a brass nut, so they don't rust, instead of taking the whole cap off.
Mm.
So that's the style we switched to, which makes it better, because you can just take that nut out and go right down through them, so you can actually cement them in or tar them in. Instead of being a flat, they're like a wedge and they're deep, so they won't twist. You can tar them or cement them right in. So that's what we switched to. So I'd like either sidewalks that are there that have them, when we redo the sidewalks, we'll put that new style in them. So that way we can just take the nut off and they'll be flush.
Yeah.
Hopefully they won't push.
Frost around here is rough.
Thank you.
Anything else from him?
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you,
Yes,
Mike.
Thank you. The correspondence, please.
correspondence from New York State Assembly and Janet Dupree regarding CHIPS and new paved New York funding. ACO monthly report for April, and correspondence from New York State Department of Transportation regarding CHIPS funding.
Okay. Old business, the Champlain Library, June, July?
July.
July. Okay, the NCC surveillance system, as I mentioned, the review will be over Wednesday, sometime Wednesday afternoon. We'll walk through it, and then the first part of June is the anticipated start date, somewhere around the 7th or 8th of June. Is there any other old business? What, you look quizzical there.
No, Wednesdays are for NCC,
Yeah. Jerry Douse will be here.
Thursday we're meeting with DOT, or county, or no,
Wednesday's also the counting for the paint.
she said Thursday the 12th.
It's
Oh.
the 12th.
What's
I
that?
thought you told me Wednesday was when they were
Yeah, he
taking
did.
the paint.
Wednesday.
He did, but
It's-
she wrote down the 12th,
It's the 12th,
which is
which
Thursday.
is Thursday.
Yeah, no, it's Wednesday,
Okay.
as far as I know.
Now,
Unless
do
it
we have to
changed
meet them for that, or they're gonna?
it. No, they'll just
They're
come out and
just
give you a
gonna do it.
sample.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. The business, Mary, you wanna explain this first one?
Yeah, someone contacted Juanita, who, works through Allen Tanel, which is the company that we use to do our tax billing. And they worked with Allen Tanel along with other companies that do this kind of processing, software, billing. And it's similar to the one that we use for the water sewer billing. They set it up so it connects right from your website, wherever you want it, wherever you're, on your own website, it goes right to their program that people can pay with their credit cards, debit cards, they can use e-checks as well. This particular one doesn't cost us anything at all. The previous one did cost $150 for the original program, and it costs $100 a year for maintenance on the one for the water sewer. This does not cost anything at all. They do charge their customers 3%, which the other program charges 2.75. And this one is $2 minimum, which I think is the same for the other one that we have. They offer the swiper in the office, so someone can come in and they can swipe it here. We can also plug in their account number right here in the office and they can do it as well. I asked her about Williamson Law because that's who we use our water sewer billing. I said, well, do you work with them? Because obviously if it's free for, it doesn't cost any maintenance fee, we'd like to do that. Apparently they have approached Williamson Law, and Williamson Law is not interested in working with them. They have their own program that they're making money off of. So,
Proprietary secrets.
Yeah.
there is, she said, a 3-year contract that you would sign. However, anytime you're not happy with it, you can get out of it. There is no problem with that. Basically, what it requires of us is an application like we did with the previous program to, because it's a credit card processor that we're using, and they have to process things through our banks with direct deposits, so.
You have a question for Mary?
So this is to pay for water and
This
taxes,
is
or?
just for taxes.
Just property
The bill
Just
is
for taxes, and we still have that other one.
And we still have the other one, we still have the water sewer billing that we use pretty regularly, I have to say.
I think it's a good idea. Because then, if somebody's gonna come in and whatever their taxes are, $600, whatever, we're gonna get that money then versus I can't pay it now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They can worry about if they wanna make a monthly payment to the credit card company. Their village
Right.
taxes have been
Mhm.
paid.
And maybe they're less likely to lose their home to tax
Right.
bid.
I think it's a
Maybe
good
pay
idea.
the 3% though.
I agree, I think it's a
Well,
good idea.
that 3%, if they decide not to pay it in the 30 days, then it's 5%. It's a 5% penalty that's added on to our tax bill.
Mhm.
So with a
They're
credit
saving.
card,
Well, that's the
Actually-
first one, then each 3 months after that, it's another 1%
1%.
added on, so it's a
Yeah.
total of 8%.
So this is better for them.
So if they were able to pay it ahead of
Mhm.
time, and we're getting paid, and they can finance it if they wish to through their credit card.
I think the biggest thing for the village is, we're getting our water and sewer paid with the other program people are paying. People are gonna use this as well,
Mhm.
and it's not putting us behind the 8 ball waiting for this stuff, having people possibly, you know, losing their homes or foreclosure or whatever.
As long as I got a credit line.
well, that's the credit card.
That's the credit card problem.
All right, not our
That's
problem, I
not
get it,
our
I
problem.
know, right.
I just think as easy as we can make it for people to pay what is owed to the village for the services that they receive and taxes, I don't have a problem with this.
Okay. Need a motion to follow through with this program.
I make a motion.
Have a second?
Second.
Is there any further discussion on this? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. I'd like a motion to have a short special meeting on May 23rd, 6 PM.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on this? We can go earlier if that,
What time did you
Later's,
say?
later's better for me.
I said 6 PM, but is 6 better?
6 is better than, don't move it till like 5. I don't know if I'll
Okay,
be
no,
back.
no, it won't be 5.
Okay.
We'll be done work with it.
Mike will still be here. 6 o'clock, okay?
Yeah.
Amy?
Yep.
Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, I had the request for the dig safe class, we've approved that with the warrant. Mike, you have a requester?
All for, it just got to me actually this afternoon, I called them, I realized I didn't have it, it was for our, rust proofing. We did like last year,
Oh, yeah.
we didn't do it this year, we haven't done it yet this year, and here's a quote for our Peterbilt, first one's our Peterbilt, plow truck, and then there's 2 pickups, the white Ford and the silver Ford, the 1-ton dump truck, the loader, the backhoe, and the sidewalk machine. And that all in the amount of $1,045 for, rust proofing. I did take the, sander box off here, because we're gonna be, we got some cans, we will do the rear unit and the front crawlers with it. The chain we're gonna be changing, it broke on us last fall, we got through the year with it, we have a brand new chain we had bought. So for next year, we'll have a brand new chain on our sander, so. The main box is stainless, so I figured for, you know, it was gonna be $60 to do that. We can probably, even if we use 4 cans, you know, it's $7 a can, you're looking at $28, so I figure we'll be. And the bottom line is, he had added, when I asked him, I don't know why, he put 4 cases of Crown Spray on there, which I just put a line through it, so. But to have that equipment done is $1,045. And from what I saw last year, it works. I know our sander, usually, when we take it out, everything is just about seized up and it's bang, bang, the chain. And you could actually take the chain and move it before we even started when we put it in last fall. So I was very pleased on how it held up.
Well, I think it's an investment in our equipment to do it.
Now, I know last year we didn't do the backhoe because it was brand new, and then we added the other extra truck, which we didn't have on because we had the old van, we didn't do that. So we did add, I don't know what we paid last year, but we did add on 2 pieces of equipment.
Are you looking for a motion, Greg?
Yes?
I make a motion that we spend $1,045 to Big Apple Audio for the crown rust proofing on the pieces of equipment that are listed on this invoice.
Have a second?
I'll second.
And we will do this the same as we did last year. We will have the check, but will not be issued until after the job is done. But it will already be
He'll come here and do
part
it.
of this year's budget.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
How much did that chain cost, Mike? Do you know?
The chain, I hate to guess, it was expensive.
It was quite,
It's never been, I don't know when the last time it was changed.
it's probably never been changed
It's-
as far as I know.
Well, I know last year we took, about 4 feet out of it, and since I'm stretched over time, more, at least 3 feet anyways, we took out
Wow.
to cook to. And I know it broke on us this year, but, a piece of asphalt
That in?
somehow got in and fell between the bars, and it wedged, so it broke, and I was able to fix it, we didn't have to unload it, thank goodness. I had to use come along, hook it to the backhoe, and I was able to rebend the bar and grind the links out and hook it back up. So, I'll look at it again, if we think we can get one more in, I will, but I think it's time to. And the day that it happened, it was freezing rain.
You already have the new one, right?
Yeah, with a brand new one.
Yeah.
It's so wore that the bars are getting thin, it's probably time to
It's
take
not
it.
worth the
Well,
time to.
no, because if something happens it's gonna happen during a storm, and that's, you can't be down for 4 hours or, so.
No, I agree.
I wanna say, $900 maybe?
I'm
It
gonna
was
say it's probably,
expensive.
probably almost close to what this is gonna.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like I say, I don't know how many years that they had it in. Of course, I was saying to Bryson, it's always, you know,
Okay. And this will come out of A 5110.2. I think that's written on here.
yeah.
Okay. If there's no further discussion, Mary, could we have a roll call, please?
Trustee Chombley,
Aye.
trustee McFetrich.
Aye.
Trustee Chombley.
Aye.
Trustee Garrett,
Aye.
Mayor Martin.
Aye. Before we adjourn, there's a couple other things that I would like to make you aware of. Number one, the annual drinking water quality report for 2015 is available. I believe it will go out soon, or are we,
It's ready to go out.
it's ready to go out?
Need time,
Okay.
when you guys have time.
Uh, You will notice that we don't have any issues with the contaminants that are making the news so often here or across the United States.
Thank goodness.
Thank goodness. Okay, that was one. Second, Hudson Headwaters is having a cocktail reception on Wednesday between 5 and 7 p.m. at the North Country Golf Club in Rouse's Point. And we have been invited to attend that to meet Dr. Ruggie and the rest of the Hudson Headwaters staff. They will be breaking ground soon for their new facility. And this is an opportunity, and quote, opportunity to learn firsthand about this exciting development for our community and nearby towns, unquote. So,
That is this Wednesday?
that is this Wednesday. Are you planning?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, I think I'm going.
I'm already
Okay.
going with Paul.
Okay, good, good.
What time?
5 to 7.
5 to 7 on the 11th,
And she needs an RSVP.
yes.
They need a head count.
And there's the information if you want,
Mhm.
and the RSVP information is there.
Okay.
Have you sent yours? I did mine this morning by email.
I didn't get this.
My understanding, it was only to you. That's what I was
Well,
told.
she invited everyone else.
Okay. That's
I
why-
RSVP'd for everyone. How's that?
Sounds good.
I would assume it is probably for trustees, it's for business leaders as well in the community.
Yeah.
Right.
Um,
So we need to RSVP that, or
I'm
did
not
you?
really sure, because I had a discussion and.
I did,
You RSVP'd for yourself?
yeah.
Yeah.
I can send another one
Do you
tomorrow
want
for
me to
all of
find
us.
out?
No,
I
no, I
I
know
can
what I
call.
was
Let's just
told.
go.
Oh.
We'll just
okay.
go.
Yeah.
We certainly belong here.
I'm
For
working
your information, we've been served papers on a lawsuit, a previous lawsuit for the motorcycle accident on Paquette Drive. That was settled. This is a second suit, different set of lawyers, but a second suit to deal with another situation involving the two people that were involved in the accident. If you wish, I can make copies for you so you can read that.
Yeah, I'd be interested in that.
And finally, there's, if you can, I know this is late notice, but there's a meeting tomorrow at 3 o'clock at the town for a progress meeting dealing with the shared water improvement project. Just received this last week, so, late last week,
3 o'clock at the town?
yes.
I'm in alone tomorrow, sorry.
And you are more than welcome to attend if you can, That's separate. And finally, and this has been mentioned, the Adopt a Bridge program has been temporarily put on hold so that the county can come in and get a few paint chips and test for lead. Why this wasn't done before, I don't know, but nonetheless, we are temporarily here waiting a result when they do the test.
It still wouldn't be lead paint, it wasn't done very long
That's what
ago.
we decided when we met, thought
Yeah,
that's what they're going to do.
that's right, okay.
All right, if there's no further business, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.